he's made a template, an SEO Notion template that we're going to dig into. So Jason, let's just dive right into this.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me, John. It's a pleasure to be here. I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Awesome.
Sweet. So, this is the SEO Campaign Hub live on Notion.com in their template gallery. A modified, minimalistic version of the ones that we actually use with our clients directly at Break the Web to make everything as easy as possible to integrate SEO, collab with different parties, different team members, different people in a nice minimalistic format. So our clients have been loving Notion over the years. We've been really early adopters of Notion for our clients. So it made sense just to throw kind of a modified version that's still really easy to use that also has templates built into the databases as well within Notion. So yeah, this is the Notion SEO Campaign Hub. Any specific questions or directions you want me to start
Yeah,
taking?
let's start just high level with Notion. Do you use Notion for project management and kind of just running your agency and everything, or more just to house like some of these templates you have in here?
So for project management internally, we use ClickUp. The
Yeah.
problem is we don't want our clients to adapt to a new project management tool. It's just a learning curve, and every single team is familiar with different types of tools. Notion comes in as kind of like the middle ground where it's super minimalist. We have everything built. It doesn't require much of a learning curve. It's fairly easy to use. The commenting feature delegated by specific items. So it's really simple. So we actually just use this solely for kind of the middle ground collaboration hub between our clients, maybe their dev teams, their writers, and the main points of contact there.
Awesome. Yeah, that's kind of what I've run into too, where like, do you put your clients directly in your project management tool where a lot of that you kind of want to have that internal space and then somewhere else for clients to go into? And if it's a new tool, that's always, yeah, the thing too. Then you have to get your client to adopt to it versus what they're kind of used to using. Um, Show us a
Yeah.
little bit. I see some of the sections in here. So walk us through a little bit. I see you have like an audit section, page advisements. Walk through that a little bit.
Yeah, so once you start with this template and duplicate it and you have your own version, you'll see that this entire navigation is a synced block, which means that any updates you make to this main navigation will also update everywhere else that's pasted on the respective pages. But on this home page, we have, well, first off, this entire Notion is built off of one single database. So it's one source of truth for pretty much everything. Every single individual page has very specific filters or views so that you can see items directly correlated with that page. So it's not overwhelming. You're not seeing a giant raw list with many different rows. Here we have current priorities, which can be anything from general to-dos to anything else that might be a top priority. At our agency, we like to have 5 to 6 top current priorities listed here max, just to avoid overwhelming things and keep things trackable and actionable. But everything is also organized by statuses, priority levels, the specific advisement type. And when you open it up, there's a lot of different properties based on every specific advisement type. If you the current priority property is checked on any page in any item, it will automatically go to this top main page as well. If it's unchecked, it'll be hidden, but it also can be found under the other pages. So this is just also templated data, and if it's the status is changed from ready to begin or working to completed, it'll go in the completed tab. In this section, we just have pages that are housing the main pages for audits. It's not really anything actionable here outside of, okay, this is kind of how we structure things. There's nothing really here. It's just text dummy data for how we might have things based on our own internal templates, keyword opportunities, research. We usually accompany videos to go along with every single deliverable as well. So this is the place where we would find that. The specific advisements is where we start getting to the nitty gritty of it all. Specific targets like current SEO targets, current top of mind focuses when it comes to tracking SEO progress and creating that before and after experience, maybe also pages that you're actively building links to. We have the specific page, the status, the search intent, which can be transactional, informational, maybe it's a mix of both, live URL, and maybe a content optimization report. Based on, again, the template that you choose, every single, when you open up a new card in Notion, there's going to be a list of different options and templates you can choose from. This one being current targets or miscellaneous pages. And there's also 2 more for site-wide advisements, kind of the bare bones, basic initial information you would need to relay information. Let's say you're an SEO manager in-house. You need to, hey, this is our current page title. This is what we need to change it to. Description, URLs, headers. This is a cool little template button for new internal links that allow you to say, okay, we want this URL to link with this anchor text to this page that we're on right now, main keywords. And if you have, clear scope or something related that you want to throw in some term relevance there as well, you can have that and some notes. What we have here is also an automation that every single template has this button. That's what we use internally. So figured we would leave it. Ping SEO team for review. Once this button is clicked, the status changes ready for SEO team review, in which we also have the automation set up to notify us in Slack. So a client doesn't always have to say, hey, via email or comment in Notion, letting you know that this is ready for your review. We already know because once the status is changed that it's ready for our review, whatever it might be, we get pinged there as well. Under site-wide advisements, I'm sorry?
One note on that too, that this seems like a great alternative to just Google Sheets instead of doing everything in there. That's what I'm used to, and Notion is something I've been looking at for a while. But the way it's laid out visually, and you could do a lot of the things you would do sometimes in a Google Sheet when you're making recommendations, but then you have all these other features that you would be harder to pull off in just a normal sheet. So I definitely like that.
Yeah, without having to add all these different app scripts and
Yeah.
triggers within Google Sheets. And that already makes Google Sheets complicated. And this just, Notion has a really great UX design dashboard that just makes it really easy to view everything. I'm a big fan of minimalism. So this whole minimalist aspect of collaboration, especially with something that can get so overwhelming like SEO, it makes it really easy to use.
Definitely. And one other question too on the one point you said about including a video with the deliverables. Tell me a little bit about that because I've always found most of my clients do this will like the video with the added context instead of having to write out a whole thing of text. Or if you're explaining something, you could avoid a call too, where sometimes you might not need a call just to show one deliverable. But what's your thought process there? Do you guys record? It's a walkthrough of the deliverable. Are these custom, or do you kind of have them pre-recorded based on the deliverable type? How do you do those?
Yeah, these videos that we record are 100% custom based on the specific scenario. Sometimes the deliverable, we have our templates, but they actually might change based on the data, the client, the industry, the niche specifically. Also, there's just like when you get a keyword research Google Sheet, it can be extremely overwhelming, especially if there's hundreds and we try not to have 1,000, but sometimes there's hundreds of rows there and it's a lot to look at and your eye is going to colors and different little things. The video is a good walkthrough of, hey, this is how best to utilize the information we're presenting. Here's what you need to do from it and what the data means, what you're looking at. What does this column mean? What does this column mean? This column doesn't really mean anything, but maybe there's an analyst in there that might find it useful. So it just gives a nice walkthrough to make SEO less annoying and ambiguous.
Yeah, yeah, because I've been that's something I've seen as well with some of our Google Sheets. We have so much stuff in there that maybe like half of it or more is useful to me or people on our team, but the client looking through that isn't always gonna use some of those data points. So the video you could really key in on like, yeah, what do they need to do? What should they know? And then how do we move forward instead of just sending a blank sheet over with a few bullet points. So I like how that's
Yeah.
kind of integrated into this template as well.
And this is actually something we asked during the kickoff call. Like once a client comes in with us and we have our first kickoff call to talk about like, hey, this is how we work best. How do you work best? We actually asked them, how do you prefer to receive information? Do you like long form text? Do you like quick few minute bite-sized videos? Do you like to only talk about work on meetings? So this allows us to also adapt the communication style to our clients to ensure that again, everything is being as effective as possible. The worst thing is when we force a client to adapt to our communication style and then nothing gets done. And then we're just kind of reminding them like, hey, remember this thing that we've been waiting on for a few months? We try our best to adapt to their style. And, if they are a visual person and they like rich media, like a video, then it just helps them get things done. We also might include like a TLDR bullet point list with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point on onboarding. That's not something I do, and I'm actually gonna take that for instead of forcing our style, kind of seeing what they actually like. Maybe they do want to have a longer email with everything broken down that they can refer back to, or is it a video that is easy to understand? We've never actually asked that in our onboarding, so I think that is a great thing to put in there, and then you're kind of set up instead of forcing clients to conform to exactly the way you want to do it. making it seamless, easy. You fit into their process as like an extension of their team. So I think that's a great point for just client management in general.
Yeah, and you're less testing open rates and reply rates on your clients with different formats and stuff. So, you know, adapting to what they prefer right off the bat.
Awesome. Yeah, let's keep going through this. Let's see what else we have in here.
Yeah, diving into site-wide advisements, very similar to page advisements in terms of specific views. We have different affected areas. For example, this is just dummy issues, but there might be a general SEO site-wide recommendation, or there might be something a bit more technical related to technical SEO. Again, everything has its template. There's no data here, but when you pick the general SEO recommendation template, once you open up a blank empty card, this will be the options that are presented, and the same thing here as well. And there also is a drop down. I'm trying to view this on the template because I made a mistake earlier recording this on the live version, and it changed everything in the template. So I promised I'll stop recording videos in the actual template itself. But there are drop downs for everything in terms of SEO impact. Affected areas, there's a huge drop down of things, whether it's rendering, crawling, page speed, ranking, different aspects that might be influenced, how difficult this might be. And this really helps our clients with delegation. Okay, is this something I can do quickly just by going into the CMS and changing a page title? Or is it a bit more difficult, and does it require a developer? Maybe it requires, let's see what we have here. This is a developer too. Maybe it requires a webmaster. Maybe it requires an editor. There has to be, yeah, for example, there's other options. Webmaster, editor, low execution difficulty, like entire site is no index. If they're on WordPress, then hey, untick that one little box. So it is fairly easy. So we try to make it as easy as possible for our clients and our points of contact so they know who to send it to, how to send it as well. And another question we might ask also is, how do they relay information internally? Do they use Jira tickets? What's that template like? So that we could also adapt our recommendations and our advisements so that it's as easy to plug and play for our clients as possible, trying to reduce that friction for our points of contact to get things done. That's really the big goal there. And
Yeah, and
that's
I like
where
how with all those
Notion
drop
helps.
downs, you had a few things there that were pretty interesting, like priority level, impact. So you're trying to kind of give more guidance or details on like if they have to go and execute this, maybe it's a lot of effort and low impact, or vice versa. You kind of have some of that mapped out already and exactly all the components, which is always a sticking point with anything technical audits, sometimes even on page getting that implemented. But have you found having all these extra fields helps kind of move some of this stuff forward and makes it a little easier for your contact to get things done and get things implemented?
Yeah, we would have responses back in the comments in Notion from our points of contact saying, hey, the devs want to know how important this is for SEO. So if we could just eliminate, it's not a bad question to ask. I think it's a very valid question. But if we could eliminate one stage in that back and forth, that's just easier for everybody. So if they see,
Yeah.
okay, it's a pretty big priority because it might also be a high or critical SEO impact. It's probably pretty important that we try to get dev buy-in, and also we try to get dev buy-in in the comments and the actual descriptions of the cars as well, so that everyone wins in a way. It's not just our selfish SEO reasoning, but hey, this is going to heavily impact the amount of overall traffic coming into the site, even branded search queries. Using this as an example, there. Here's why it's important that we implement ASAP.
Awesome. Yeah, I could see how this is just as flexible as Google Sheets, but then you have the UI and some of the other benefits of using this versus Google Sheets, because that's one of the things I like about Google Sheets. You can customize on the fly, you could adapt things, and you could pretty much do all of that here. And then with this template, everyone's getting a starting point that they could take and kind of mold for their own format. So I think this is going to be pretty helpful for a lot of people trying to adopt this.
Yeah, the second you have this in your Notion, all you got to do is open up a new card or a new database item. Once you open it up, there'll be a list of different templates that align with all of these pages. Some of them will also have some of the properties automatically filled out, but also, good delegation is filling them out manually and not relying on automations 100% for various different things. So, yeah, it's just broken out really nicely and easy to use, all housed within, we have this resources page. It's kind of like for our clients if they want to come in and see, okay, who are Break the Web's point of contacts with these. These are fake names. Or again, our team wants to see who are our client points of contact and email us. Say somebody needs to cover for somebody else and send that an email. So we have kind of this all information there as well. but it's all driven based on this raw database. So we have the warnings in there because we have learned the hard way that sometimes clients will mess with things in this main database hub. So we try to get them not to mess with things. So we have all these red warnings, but this is kind of the raw data, the single database that is driving all the other pages, which are filters and sorting to ensure that you only see information relevant to that specific section, broken out very seamlessly to single page advisements or site-wide advisements. Whether again it's a current target or a random page on the website, internal linking, heading structure, page titles, just pretty much everything you would need for general on-page SEO and some of the more technical stuff.
Yeah,
In
and
here, yeah,
one thing that's interesting here too is you have this one central place that clients can go to get everything. Where one thing issue I ran into, and I was surprised I never thought about it, was I have all these different Google Sheets. So I have an on-page optimization tracker with a bunch everything we're doing by month, then something tracking briefs and like new content, technical recommendations. One of our clients eventually said asked us to make one kind of central thing, and that's when I realized like, oh yeah, it is actually a lot to have 5 or 10 different sheets tracking different things. Clients have all these different documents they have to remember to bookmark and find, where you're kind of building out this one central place they can go to with all the recommendations, the campaign, everything they need to know without having to, again, you're making it a lot less difficult for them to understand what's happening versus trying to track down all the Google Sheets that I've used quite a bit.
yeah, and then if you do want to merge those Google Sheets into one, it's a lot of VLOOKUPs and a lot of pulling
Yeah.
in data, which also just makes the whole sheet slow to load in general. We also have built out a very elaborate content hub, which also is normally housed here. It's not included in this template, but it just allows the entire staging process and editorial calendar from ideation and approvals and sharing the SEO value in a 1 to 5 star rating of the SEO value of a given topic, all the way through briefing, production, review collaboratively if we're writing the articles or our clients writing the articles, and then publication. So again, there's a lot of cool things that can be done with Notion in one main overall hub, and this is right here. We add new ones. We have this exact template, modified version of it, available to our clients. Once we click start, it intertwines with the various other automations that we have internally set up. But this is where most of the magic happens with our collaboration with our clients directly.
And how does someone go about setting this up? Do you make one of these Notion spaces an individual one for each client? So is it simply kind of like duplicating it and getting it ready for the client, or how does that work?
We have a main Break the Web workspace. In our setup, we have the Break the Web workspace. Under that, we have our clients. It just says, I
Okay.
think it's our clients. And then it's just dedicated pages like this for each individual client. We have a template button that just creates a new template. But
Yep.
for anyone watching this, they can easily just click start with this template. It'll ask you to choose what workspace you want to add it to. And then bam, this page exactly as it is ready for you to use. Of course, you're going to want to remove all the break the web branding because, we're marketers and we have to throw it in there. But the template is ready for you to use, and you can remove all the dummy data either in individual views or through the main database itself and just start using the information right off the bat.
Yeah, and this is going to make even when you onboard a client just feel more professional and organized. That's one thing I've seen a lot with consultants and agencies. A lot of times we just send random deliverables. We have all these different things, but having this built out, like as soon as the client comes on, they're already going to feel like, okay, you guys have process, you have everything dialed in, everything's organized. A lot of them won't be used to that either if they've worked with another agency or consultant that didn't have this kind of detail and organization. So I could already see from like client retention and then just having a good experience with onboarding right away is you're kind of setting all that up for success with this format. Have you seen that when you guys roll this out? Do you feel like retention and all of that have gone up?
Yeah, I don't think Notion itself can be accountable for something like that, but the way we advise, recommend the collaboration, the way things get, if we throw a lot on our client's plate, that might, even in Notion, might reduce retention. They're just like, we don't have time for this, forget this.
Yeah.
But we asked during the sales process, have you ever used Notion.so? Some clients have. And when we say, hey, we're run on Notion for our collaboration, their eyes perk up. They're so excited because they know how easy it is to use. If they haven't, we ease them by saying, hey, it's super minimalist, really easy to use. We also do record a walkthrough video as well dedicated to them where they can find all their bits of information. We also customize, so our client's logo, some of our clients' branding is spread throughout the Notion template as well. So they remain the big picture. Even though they're on Break the Web's Notion, they're the key focus, and that's their entire project hub is just their brand and everything they're doing.
Yeah. And do you find it's easier for your clients now when they have to share updates to their leadership team or the rest of their team? That's something I've run into too. A lot of times in the past, my clients would ask me for, yeah, to kind of put together everything we've done or kind of, and there's still sometimes where we'll need to add insights to it. But this feels like they can easily, if someone asks, they can tell them, here's exactly what's going on. Here's the plan. Here's what's happened, results, deliverable, everything's kind of there. Have you seen that as well since you've adopted this?
Yeah, we try to make it as easy to understand for our clients' point of contact, so that they can also relay information internally as effectively as possible. That's always going to be a hard one because some stakeholders care about different things. Some CEOs,
Yeah.
VPs of marketing care about different things than others. Depends on the brand or what's shiny to them, maybe at the given quarter, year, whatever it is. But we included the templates for our given monthly reports on what it might be, which has a link to if there is a report. Sometimes there's a slide deck. Sometimes there's good like articles published, links built. And here's kind of like the we use TLDR, too long didn't read, but it's kind of like an executive summary in a way, just a much cooler acronym of just, hey, here's the highlights of the last month, quarter, whatever it is. Here's what went really well. Here's maybe what didn't go so well, because not everything is sunshine and rainbows in SEO. We know that. Here's what we've learned from it, and here's what we're going to do about it to help alleviate pain. And that should hopefully give the points of contact enough information so that, hey, they're in the know about what's top of mind for us, so that we can also do effective SEO, but also give effective communication.
Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely excited for people to get this. Jason, before we wrap up, I want to give you a chance. Tell us a little bit about Break the Web, what you guys do, who you work with, and kind of how you help them get results.
I mean, our value prop elevator pitch is right there in the Notion template, but we
Even easier.
aim to make SEO less annoying for in-house marketing teams of D2C, B2C brands. That's really the big one. Is we want to work with people that are also data driven and making logical decisions versus kind of emotional decisions. So helping marketers that can see the same type of data that we're looking at and blend together their overall marketing goals and business goals with what's possible with SEO, so everyone wins.
That's awesome. So we'll be giving this template out very soon in the next newsletter. Also, check and follow Jason on LinkedIn. I know he's very active there with content and different helpful things all about SEO. So definitely follow him there, and then check out Break the Web. And then this template will be sent out within the next week. So thanks everybody for joining. And Jason, thanks for coming on. This was a fun one.
I appreciate it, John. Thank you so much.
Thank you.